Hey, what's up everyone? My name is MrJordilicious and I'm back today with another Sims 4 building video. Now in today's video I'm trying out a little bit of a different style than I did in my last build video. Today I'm doing more of a speed build where everything is sped up and I'm talking over the video instead. Now because these building videos are new to me, I'm trying out different styles to see which one I like best, but most of all which one you guys, the viewers, actually like best. So definitely let me know in the comments down below the like button which of these styles you prefer. Now in the video today I'm remodeling an apartment in the neighborhood of city living called San Myshuno. So it's a bit different this time and it's mostly focused on decorating and not so much on actually building. Now without further ado, let's jump into the game so I can show you my build. Alright, so like I mentioned, we're gonna go to San Myshuno. I already picked out an apartment beforehand. We're gonna go to 702 Zenview, which is a nice spacious apartment with 2 floors that we're gonna have to decorate. Now I went with this apartment, I had to do this twice. The actual emptying of the apartment, because initially I used the bulldozer tool, but for some reason that actually deleted also some of the walls on the lower floor, and I couldn't get them back properly because I had to, like, the ceilings were gone and I don't know, something was missing. I couldn't get the ceilings back in place, so I just decided to load back in and do it manually like that. So before we go, I add some random lights everywhere so that we can see what we are doing. And then we'll move on to the wallpaper of the living room. Now, in the first time that I did this apartment, I already found a wallpaper that I liked. So I tried looking for it again, but I couldn't really find it. But in the end, I did go with a wallpaper that I think is kind of nice and stylish, especially for an apartment like this. I feel that a stylish wallpaper would work. I didn't change the wallpaper in the kitchen because I thought that it would actually go well with the floor there. Then we move on to the outside of the apartment. I wanted to replicate the windows as best as I could based on the apartment below and above me. So I added some windows there. A door here, of course, as well to the balcony. And then we move on to the upstairs area where I also tried to replicate those windows. There was a weird glitch in the wall here. I couldn't fix that. I couldn't change the wallpaper on the outside. So I didn't actually do that, but luckily the window covers most of that. Then I tried to look for a floor. I wanted some wooden floors in the apartment that would actually fit in a relatively luxurious apartment like this. So I went with these gray wooden floors in the downstairs area and the upstairs hallway. And then some more warmer floors, I feel, in the upstairs bedrooms. And I didn't change the floors in the bathrooms because I actually kind of like those. Then I added some more doors here. We start with the kitchen. I wanted to have a big open area into the kitchen and then some doors in the upstairs area, of course, leading into all the rooms that we have available. I just went with some relatively simple doors, nothing's fancy, just some basic colors. I always struggle a little bit with interior doors because I never really know which ones go very well with an interior, but I think the ones that I found actually were quite okay. So then we start with the decorating now that everything is done. I wanted to initially start with the dining area, but I tried looking for a table here and I couldn't really find the one that I liked. But I thought having a table in front of this window would kind of work very well because then you have a nice view outside to the city whenever you have your dinner. So then I just went on with another area first, namely the hallway here. As you can see, I always like these shoe racks that I found, that I discovered recently, so I added those to the bottom there. I did move them back a little bit. Now I started to build without using move objects, and then later on I decided to actually enable moved objects because it did make things a little bit easier, especially with placing clutter and stuff like that. So yeah, so here I add some small knickknacks and clutter to the hallway to make it look a little bit more lively. I added this coat rack here as well, and then after that, we move on to, I think, the kitchen, because I wasn't really done with the hallway yet, but I wasn't sure what else I wanted to add there, so I just wanted to move on with another area. I sometimes do this in the entire build, where I switch between locations and I kind of go back and forth, but I tried to stick to one area and finish that first before moving on. So here we go to the kitchen. I wanted to have fancy countertops. Corner piece there, which normally it always does automatically, and I figured that it might have been because that one piece was missing, so I added that back. And here I decided that I wanted to build a sort of cooking island. Now I saw this in a other apartment or in another building in the game, and I thought it actually looked really cool. So I ended up making that in this apartment as well. I made the counters a little bit smaller, the entire surface there, so that the island would fit nicely in the center. And it will also be a nice sort of centerpiece where people can sit and have their dinner or have their morning coffee, for instance. And then I added a half wall behind the stove because I thought it would be kind of weird if you saw the backside of the stove just like that. I was doubting if the half wall would make it look weird as well, but I thought maybe with a stove in the center it's actually not that weird. And some seating around the countertops so that you can sit there, have your morning coffee, have your food, have your dinner. And then I start with adding like appliances and some knickknacks here and there as well. I was glad that I actually found this hob that I could add above the stove. I thought that actually really was a nice touch. I'm glad that it works even though it is in the center and it's not mounted against a wall there. So yeah, some other decoration in the kitchen. Of course, I also need a fridge. We're going to add that later. And I was looking at these cabinets, but I didn't really find ones that matched with the counters below them. So I ended up not using them. Some lights first, removing the default light that I added there. And then I realized later that I also need to add a fridge. So we're going to be placing that there as well. I tried putting move objects back on because I hoped that I could maybe change the area of the slots on the counters, but apparently those slots are, well, slotted in, and you can't really change wherever things are placed. So unfortunately, I couldn't place things freely on the counters, even though I really wanted that. But I'm stuck with the slots that are available. So yeah, some more decorating, some knickknacks here and there, mortar and pestle, some paper towels. Yeah, to kind of just make everything a little bit more lively. Fun fact, I recently got this pack from one of my moderators and one of my friends. They gifted it to me, which was super sweet. After I talked about playing, I'm playing The Sims now on my streams very often, and my Sim family is kind of getting ready to get married. They proposed to each other recently, so they're getting ready to get married. And I looked online, I was Googling, and I wanted to see what a good wedding venue was, because I'm sure that people have their own opinions, and like there's many different venues that work for weddings, but I figured maybe there's like one or two venues that people always feel are very good for a wedding. And one of the venues actually that came out was here in San Myshuno. So I mentioned that on stream. I said like, yeah, I found this wedding venue online that people were recommending in San Myshuno, but I don't have the expansion pack yet. So then they were so sweet to actually gift me the expansion right then and there. So I was very happy with that. So soon we will have a wedding here in San Myshuno. I think it's called the Myshuno Meadows. I already looked it up. It's a nice park here in the city that I think goes very well for a wedding. I think it's also made for a wedding venue because there was like a wedding arch and like some seating already there. So I think that's also a wedding venue that is being used by a lot of Sims. But I don't care. Like it looked good and I figured it would go make a nice wedding. So here we're done with the kitchen. I moved back to the living area. I finally decided on a dining table that I added there with some nice chairs to add some color. And now we move on to the main living area. Also having city living again. I remembered like back in the day when I started streaming, The Sims was actually my first game that I played on stream ever. And I used to play with my husband's account because he had a lot of the packs that I didn't own. I was able to play them. And I used to play with city living because I kind of liked the apartment idea. And I kind of liked it to have my Sim live in an apartment like that. So I ended up going with city living, and I also had a neighbor in my apartment building called Penny Possess. Now, I didn't know that you pronounce it as Penny Possess, so I called her Penny Pizzas. And she kind of became a sort of like a running gag in my stream because Penny Pizzas always kind of hated my Sim. I don't know why. I don't feel that I've ever done something wrong. But for some reason, she always complained about me making too much noise and that I was like too rowdy and like made a lot of mess. She always complained about me and she always hated me. So in the end, one of my friends and viewers of my stream, they actually made a t-shirt that had like a I dislike penny pizzas t-shirt, which I actually recently looked up on my Twitter to see if I can find that. But she still had the t-shirt, so I have it in my game now. I'm probably going to show it off on my next stream. So if you want to see that, definitely drop by on either YouTube here or Twitch, where I stream The Sims pretty regularly now, because I really enjoy playing it again. So it's definitely been one of my main games recently. All right, so back to the decorating. Here we have the living room area. I added a rug and a nice sofa. I wanted to add some clutter here on the TV furniture, TV table as well. I looked at some of the items that came with City Living because I figured they would probably go well in an apartment like this. And I feel some of them actually did. Like, for instance, the sofa that I added, I think that actually definitely went well with an apartment. But some of the other items are from like various different packs that I also own. So not everything comes from City Living. Here, I wanted to add this accent table. I might come back to that later because I wasn't really happy with the way it looked yet, but I figured we're just going to leave it for now and then I'll come back to that later when I'm done with other things. Here I'm just decorating more items in the hallway. I decided to add a rug there, and I found one from the fitness pack that I thought was actually really looking good in this hallway, so we added that. And then we're almost done with the downstairs area. Also, one thing that I wanted to add here are light switches. Now, I never really use them in my builds or in my Sims playthroughs, but I really recently discovered that they exist, and I don't think they're actually functional. I haven't actually used any of them, but I do kind of like the idea of having light switches in an apartment like this. It does make it a little bit more realistic that, you know, they are in an apartment and that you can use them. So I added them to the downstairs area, and I will later add them to the upstairs area as well. I'm moving on to the upstairs. I want to start with the hallway here. So I have this nice table that I found that I want to add some clutter and some little statues on. I wasn't sure what I was going to add there, but I found this really nice statue that came with City Living actually. And then some plants there to kind of complement that. Nothing too fancy, but it does liven up the place and it makes it a little bit less empty, I feel. And then of course we need a light fixture. Also in this hallway, I will circle back to this later, but I did make a mistake early on. I'm not going to say what it is, but maybe some of you have already spotted what the mistake might be. If that's the case, definitely let me know in a comment down below when you have figured out what the mistake is. Because, well, in that case, if you figured it out by now, you are earlier than I did, because I only realized it a little bit later on in the build. So in this little nook, I wanted to add a statue or at least something. I was thinking about maybe putting the nook or like, you know, making the bedroom a little bit bigger and incorporating that nook there. But then I thought it wouldn't look good in the bedroom. So I decided to just keep it in the hallway and add a statue there. Because I feel the people that live here might be art lovers. You know, they have paintings downstairs that they might have bought and got at various travels that they did. So I think, you know, they're definitely art lovers because they have art throughout the entire apartment. So a statue would be fitting perfectly in that nook there, because what else are you going to put there? It's kind of such a small, useless nook, to be honest. All right, moving on to the main bedroom here. I changed the wallpaper because I think it looked a little bit nicer here. And then we'll move on to the bed. Now, I kind of had a bit of a struggle where we were going to add the bed, what the best position would be, which corner. I ended up putting it here in this nook against the wall. That I think is the only place where it fits, it makes the most sense. I did have to move this door though, because otherwise the door to the bathroom probably wouldn't be accessible anymore. And I also wanted to try and add a side table, but I couldn't find any that fit in this small area. So I just decided to not go with that and just add some lamps and some artwork above the bed instead. I think one of the things that I always struggle with these building challenges is that I don't want to overdo it in terms of decorating, but also I don't want to like underdo it. I don't want to have like a too empty apartment or like a too empty house. And I think I'm still sort of trying to find the right balance in terms of adding clutter and in terms of like adding things like rugs and wallpaper or like wall hangings and maybe like little statues. But yeah, I'm definitely still trying to find like sort of a good balance. Now, granted, this is only the second time that I've properly done a build here like this. So I feel for a second time it's actually not too bad, and we'll see the end result. I hope you guys agree with me on that. But like I said, there's definitely way more things that I can learn and that I can try and focus on next time that I make a build. So here I decided to add a desk in this corner here. I think it's a very nice location for a desk with that big window overlooking the rest of the city and the other apartment buildings there. So I think working on this desk here and at this desk is definitely a nice little, yeah, like a nice home office, or like a studio if someone's like self-employed, maybe like a writer or something like that. I think this is definitely a nice place to do some work. Again, adding some lamps because, yeah, the default ones don't really work. I don't really like them. And then putting the final finishing touches on the bedroom here. Now here I wanted to try something. So I saw this frame with the lights around them that I really liked. And I thought there would be like a mirror, but they were just like the frame with the lights and nothing else. So I tried to see if I could find anything that would fit in that opening. And I did find this poster of the plumb bobs that doesn't fully fit. It doesn't fit the, it doesn't fill the entire opening. But because it is somewhat symmetrical, I did kind of feel that it does sort of work. It's definitely not perfect, but it does feel like a nice little decoration for the wall there. So yeah, some final clutter. I couldn't put any plants on top of this dresser here, so we just went with these two statues of the fox and the hand. And then some final touches on the bedroom with the rug here that I made a little bit smaller. And then we move on to the bathroom, the first bathroom here upstairs, after we add some more art here. Like I said, I think the people living here, they're definitely art lovers. So having different art pieces in their house definitely fits with, I think, the people that might live in an apartment building like this. All right, yeah, so the bathroom, it's not a big bathroom. There are two in the entire apartment. So I didn't want to like overdo it. I did want to go with this cool new toilet that came with City Living, because I think it's actually a really nice toilet. And I forgot here that you have to add a sink as well. So I do put in a shower because there's not really a space for a bath. I wanted to go with the shower from Snowy Escape because I kind of like that, but then it wouldn't make sense, I feel, because I can't really add like a shower curtain or a half wall there. So I ended up going with a shower cubicle. And then I added this sink that I believe also came with City Living. Again, nothing special for the bathroom, just some decorations, some knickknacks here and there. But yeah, I think the most important things are definitely there. One light fixture, because even though it does feel a little bit dark, I also don't think that you want to have too much light in a bathroom. Especially when you go to the bathroom at night, in the middle of the night, you don't want it to be super illuminated to completely wake you up again. Yeah, I wanted to try if that rug that we had downstairs, if that would work here as well when you come out of the shower, but I thought it looked kind of weird being that small, so I ended up not using it. All right, here we go to the second bedroom, and here I noticed my mistake. I forgot to add a door to this room, so I had to add one there. And then, of course, I had to add a different art piece there because the one that I had didn't fit anymore. So if you already saw that and if you guessed that, you have a good sharp eye, because I only noticed it just now when I started working on the bedroom itself. So I hadn't noticed it before that. I totally missed that door there. All right, a different style bed. I wasn't sure if I wanted to have the same type of furniture throughout the entire upstairs area, but I figured if someone lives here, it doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, they need to have the same furniture in the entire house. So I just ended up going with different night tables, a different bed, kind of a different style compared to the other room. Also some tissues on the nightstand, because you never know, you know, in the middle of the night when you get a runny nose or you need to sneeze, having tissues is always very convenient, I think, having them close by on your nightstand table. So I usually add them in my bedrooms. And then I went with a simple dresser and a mirror. And here I was looking for a plant or something to put in the middle of the dresser. Now this is the only one that I could find that went somewhat in the middle, but for some reason it's not completely in the middle, which kind of bothered me a little bit. So I added this statue of a cat next to it so that it's definitely not symmetrical in the first place. So, you know, with the cat statue, I feel that it not being in the middle is not really that noticeable anymore. And then again, some art pieces on the wall because, well, like I said before, I kind of struggle with having empty walls, so I always try to add things to the walls. I'm kind of curious what you guys feel about that. If you're doing builds yourself, do you put a lot of things on the walls? Do you add like a lot of clutter into your houses and apartments? Or do you like to keep things clean and empty as well? Because like I said, I usually try to add things to my walls because otherwise they feel kind of empty, and also the floors, I don't like it when they're too empty. But I don't know, maybe I'm just sort of overdoing it. Maybe it doesn't necessarily make sense of me adding so many things. So I'm very curious to see what you guys think and how you guys build your houses usually. So again, let me know in a comment down below because I'd love to hear from you guys. All right, then we move on to the last room in the house, the second bathroom. I tried adding a bath there, but I don't think it was going to fit. Especially in this small space, you know, I would have to add a sink as well, and it wasn't really going to fit otherwise. So I ended up going with the same shower, the same appliances that we had in the other bathroom, because I do feel that having the same type of sink and the same shower and the same toilet kind of makes sense in an apartment like this. You're not going to have different styles of appliances in the bathrooms, I feel. I wanted to add this thing to the wall there, but then I figured that Sims probably wouldn't be able to use the door anymore if that was hanging there, so I ended up not using that. And then I check all the rooms one last time to see if I missed like something on the wall, if I missed something else, maybe something that could be changed or could be added. In the end, like I said before, I didn't really like that side table, so I ended up going with a different one, and then I just put a simple plant on that to kind of make it a little bit more, yeah, filled up, you know, not as empty. But with that, one final check everywhere to see if I missed anything. I did actually miss something, which I'm gonna notice again in a little bit, which is the outside area. Now, I wasn't sure if the upstairs balcony also was part of my apartment, because I don't feel that a door in one of the bedrooms would make sense. So I ended up not using that, and I only decorated the downstairs balcony. So I wanted to have a bird bath, and I know that there was one, but I wasn't sure what it was called, so I couldn't find it initially. I did find this cool fountain that I wanted to add on the balcony that I thought looked kind of cool. So I added that, and then I went looking for the bird bath that I wanted, and I found it later on. I added it to the balcony as well. And I wanted to have something on the wall. I kind of like this metal looking piece. Then I also realized that there was a cool planter that might work, even though it's technically listed as an indoor planter. I do think that it is kind of cool, so I added it outside regardless. And then finally, a table so that the people living here can enjoy a nice dinner or a nice time outside, overlooking the city while they enjoy some nice weather. So we're almost done here with the entire apartment decorated, so I'm going to do a quick house tour to show off everything. All right, so we're here in the house, and let's do a house tour of the entire apartment. So here, come into the front door, where you are greeted by this hallway that we have off to our left. And then you immediately see the living area and the dining area in the farther side of the room, where you can also move to our kitchen here. Big open kitchen with this cooking island that we have here in the middle, with the hob above that and some seating areas, and then some spaces here where you can do your food preparation. Then moving back, we go upstairs to the second floor, where we also are greeted into a hallway with some nice artwork and a nice side table here, some decorations, before we go into the first bedroom that we have here, with the big mirrors, the full-length mirrors, the dresser here, then the bed in this corner, and a desk here for a little home office, which also has the door to the bathroom with the shower and the toilet. Nothing too special there, but just a nice, simple ensuite bathroom. And then we go into the second bedroom here with, again, the bed against this wall in front of the window, some nice art on the walls here, dresser, and a mirror, and then also these full-length mirrors that overlook the rest of the city. Look at that view. Like, imagine how amazing it is to have this bedroom to wake up and then overlook the city like this. And of course, also this bedroom has its own ensuite bathroom with shower and a toilet. Again, nothing too special, but it's nice that it is included here, that you have your bathroom next to your bedroom. And there you have it, that's my build for this apartment. I struggled a little bit to actually decorate everything properly, because I felt that sometimes things were a little bit empty, but in the end I did feel that I did a pretty okay job. Obviously, I would love to hear your thoughts about it, so definitely let me know what you thought of this build in the comments below the like button. Unfortunately, you can't upload apartments to the gallery in The Sims 4, at least I didn't find a way to do that, so if you know of a way to upload this apartment to the gallery, definitely let me know as well, because I would love to share this build with you guys too. Now, speaking of the gallery, if you want to check out my previous build, you can find that on the gallery using my ID, MrJordilicious. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more The Sims 4 content, definitely go check out my channel or drop by one of my live streams here on YouTube, because lately I've been playing a lot of The Sims 4 on stream. I hope you guys all have an amazing rest of your day. Keep on simming and don't forget to play with life.